All right, it's May 8th, 2018. It's 12 degrees Celsius. It's about quarter to 1 in the afternoon. And I'm really tempted to crack into this hive and see what they're doing because a week ago I did a full inspection. Didn't find many bees. Found maybe at the most two frames worth of bees and a small ball of open brood and no capped brood. And it was an indication that the queen was just beginning to lay, which seems to make sense because it was just last week that the weather warmed up enough that the bees could collect pollen for the first time this year. And if she's got Russian genetics, then she won't lay or do anything until the natural resources in the environment are available, because Russians are extremely sensitive to their environment. They just don't do anything unless the resources are available, unless it's warm enough, unless there's pollen and nectar coming in. And if they don't, they just shut down. And so now, from what I can see, or what I saw last week, that queen was just starting to get going, and it's been a week, and it hasn't been a warm week, but now it's starting to get some sunshine, and I'm really tempted to just crack open this hive and see what that queen is doing, to see if she's filled in 2 empty frames that I inserted with eggs. And but even if she is or isn't, doesn't matter. I can't do anything about it. So I'm just going to leave it alone. They have plenty of honey in there, and they have 2 blank frames, empty frames with drawn comb that the queen can lay in, and I think that should keep her going for about 2 weeks. Probably this time of year she's probably not laying at full tilt. She's probably just going maybe 1,000 eggs a day. And I think there's room for 6,000 brood in per frame, so she should have room. And anyway, I'm tempted, but I'm just gonna leave it alone. I really, really want to crack it open and see what they're doing, what's going on inside. But hopefully I'll crack it open next week instead and find those 2 frames are full of brood, and I will put in some more empty frames and let them expand the bottom box, make it full of brood, make it their brood chamber. And I'm not going to expand the brood nest into a second deep. I'm going to try to just manage this hive with a single brood chamber, just basically 1 big deep on the bottom and then supers on the top, or medium honey supers on top. So we'll see. All right, I'm back, and I've got a blank frame. Can't really see what's going on here, but there's a little bit of mold in this frame. And right here, this white stuff, that's mold. And there's a bit of something else in there too. I don't know what it is. Looks like, oh, that's sugar. Oh, sugar and mold, whatever. They'll clean it up if they need it. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to try not to get stung. So here we go. Put this in my back pockets. And I've also noticed that there's not a lot of bees foraging right now. And even though I think it's 18 degrees right now, supposedly 18 degrees. It doesn't feel like 18 degrees, but anyway. But there's not a lot of foragers coming and going right now. And I don't think that's because they're weak. I think it's because, I hope it's because those 2 blank frames are full of nurse bees, and so then the bees that are in there have been relegated to doing nurse duties, and instead of foraging, because they need to raise those bees. So that's what I hope to see. And it's a pretty critical thing happening right now, because if they don't, these are all winter bees. The queen hasn't started laying or making new bees yet, so the population is dwindling. Like the bees naturally die off, so the population is not going to increase until these new brood comes out. So it's a pretty big deal. I have a water bottle right in here. I'll give it a spray. It smells like vinegar. Oh well. Okay. This is This is where I find out if I need gloves. I very well may need gloves. I kind of should have gloves on. Okay, they're okay. I'm getting a little spritz. So right now the brood, the cluster seems to be in the middle, not on the side where I put those frames. Hope that's vinegar and not bleach. Okay, so it doesn't look like the queen is laid. My guess is she hasn't. It doesn't look like it. Because I think this was one of the frames. So I'm just going to dig right into that right away. The bees are calm so far. I haven't done anything to disturb them. Okay, here we go. No, doesn't feel like anything. No, they haven't touched it. So I think this is the next one. And it looks like they haven't touched that either. Yeah, it's totally light, and there are no bees on it. Okay, they've got. You can't really see it probably in the shade, but they're filling up they're putting some pollen in this. There's no drone, so they're not laying. The queen isn't laying in this frame. Oh, okay, hold on. The next frame's got brood on it. So right now they're spreading over maybe 4 frames. Isn't much, but nothing. All right, baby, look at this. That's beautiful. That's what I thought I would see. Yeah, this is all cap brood. Nice, not a bad brood pattern. See, all these nurse bees are holding on to the frame. So that's what I thought I would see in the blank frames, but I'm obviously not. See if I can find. Oh, there's the queen. Okay, looking good. I'm going to put her aside over here for now. It's possible the queen isn't laying on the left side of the hive because that's the cold side. The sun. That's the side that gets the least amount of sun. Okay, so she's laying some drones. This is right here. This is probably not coming out at all, but this is drone brood. And these bees are really well behaved because nurse bees are always well behaved usually. I see lots of fresh brood in there. Yeah, a lot of open brood and cap brood. So she's doing her thing. That's good. I am going to put one of those blank frames that I put in last week. I'm going to put it closer to the brood nest on this side of the hive though, because I think she's going towards. She might be going towards the warm side. This frame is a bit heavier. It's got a bit of honey on it. Let's see if there's any brood. Probably on this side if there is any. No brood yet. But some nectar, some pollen. So this is the blank. It says 2014 right here. I'll put that to the front of the hive, and so we'll know at least that's one frame we can check next time I check on them. But there's still plenty of honey and plenty of room for the queen to lay. So I'm not going to, I don't need to check them for a while. Now I'm messing up the brood nest right now. But let's see. Let's put the queen back. Let's make sure I haven't killed her or she hasn't fallen off the frame. Okay, excellent. I'll have to shake these bees off. Very calm bees. Warm bees are usually calmer than cold bees. So what I'll do with this frame, I'll put this empty deep back on top, and I'll put this frame, whoops, which has some honey, and obviously a lot of bees sticking to it. I'll I'll just put it right over the entrance hole, the hole right there. And the bees will come up here and eat the honey, and then go down and feed the queen and do all kinds of other good stuff with all the stuff that's on this frame. So this is basically feeding the bees now. And I'll put it right over the hole. And hopefully they'll stay down there. They won't come out into this box and build comb or anything, which is very unlikely. Because they got plenty of space. Alright, cool. Not exactly what I was looking for, but good enough. Alright, so it's it's May 9th, 2018, and it's 18 degrees Celsius, and it's about 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30. And not a lot of foraging going on, but I think most of the bees are being diverted towards nursing duties right now, and the queen, who I think it was about 10 days ago was just beginning to lay, has now filled up at least one frame with cap brood and some drone brood and stuff like that. I'm really curious to see how this hive works out throughout the summer, because they didn't eat any of the sugar over the winter, and they didn't eat any of the pollen I gave them over the winter. So in a way, that this is a natural hive, you know, in the sense that I'm not really manipulating the hive frames or the food or stimulating the queen to lay artificially or anything like that. But that's about as natural as it gets. It's really not natural at all. Alright, this is for my records. I have 2 full deeps of honey that were in the shed, and a lot of it was going bad and moldy and all kinds of junk. I think it's because there wasn't enough ventilation inside the inside the bee shed there. So I set these hives up, and I spread out the frames of honey, which are heavy, and I split 1 deep into 2 deeps, and then 1 deep into 2 deeps, so the frames are a lot of space and a lot of air can flow between them. And I've got a moisture quilt on the bottom and a moisture quilt on the top, so air can come in and go out and just flow through it without insects or bugs or, you know, rodents getting in as well. So hopefully that'll dry them out and they won't go moldy. And maybe it won't work at all. We'll find out.